Today, we embark on a journey like no other, Millie's Wild West Wanderlust. A 5-day epic road trip through the heart of South Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming. The adventure begins in Rapid City, South Dakota, where Deanna, Jeff, Bruce, Sue, and Millie will step back in time at the legendary Wyld drugstore. From there, the wild beauty of the Badlands National Park awaits, with its otherworldly landscape stretching far beyond the horizon. But the journey doesn't stop there. Next, they'll stand face to face with history at the iconic Mount Rushmore. As the sun sets on day one, this adventurous crew will spend the night under the stars in a traditional Native American teepee. Could there be a better start to Millie's Wild West Wanderlust? I'm Wyatt, your guide on this unforgettable adventure, so buckle up and get ready for the road trip of a lifetime.
Millie's crew has just touched down in Rapid City, South Dakota. We're heading east along I-90 on a mission to explore one of the most legendary stops in the Midwest, Wyld Drugstore. Along the way, we pass by a hidden part of American history, the missile silos that dot the prairie landscape. During the Cold War, these silos were part of the Minuteman missile defense system, holding nuclear weapons ready to launch at a moment's notice. Fun facts about our destination ahead. Did you know that Wyld Drugstore started way back in 1931 as a small pharmacy, offering free ice water to travelers passing through? Today, it's a sprawling roadside attraction drawing over 2 million visitors a year. Famous for its quirky souvenirs, giant statues, and yes, still offering that ice-cold water for free. As the crew explores Wyld Drugstore, you can find just about anything here. Bruce, though, has his own mission, tracking down Wyld Drug's famous penny press machines. You know the ones, pop in 50 cents and out comes a flattened souvenir penny. They say there's a genius born every minute. Or was that a sucker? But jokes aside, Bruce has a clever idea. He's been collecting these commemorative coins as mementos from his travels around the globe. Time for the crew to get some food done fast. Then, like Willie's famous song, we all will be on the road again. Millie's Wild West Wanderlust rolls on as the crew sets their sights on the rugged beauty of Badlands National Park. A true geological wonder, the Badlands have been sculpted over millions of years. The crew arrives at their first stop, the Big Badlands Overlook. Here, the Badlands truly reveal their magnificence. From this vantage point, the rugged landscape stretches as far as the eye can see, a seemingly endless maze of sharply eroded buttes, pinnacles, and spires. The breathtaking panorama showcases millions of years of geological history, where layers of sediment tell the story of ancient seas, rivers, and changing climates. The contrast between the deep valleys and the jagged peaks creates an otherworldly landscape, one that feels as if it's been untouched by time. But time is at the heart of what makes this place so unique. Erosion continues to shape the land, wearing down the rocks at a rate of about an inch every year. Standing here at the Big Badlands Overlook, you're witnessing a process that's both ancient and alive. The area is also rich in wildlife. Keep your eyes peeled for bighorn sheep and mule deer, often spotted grazing in the distance. And for those with an eye for detail, fossils of prehistoric creatures lie hidden within these rocks, waiting to be discovered. This is more than a view. It's a window into the past, offering one of the most iconic vistas in the entire park. As the crew takes it all in, they know that this is just the beginning of the adventure. Those views were absolutely breathtaking, but now it's pedal to the metal for Millie's crew. Time to crank up the tunes and soak in the glorious scenery as we head toward Panorama Point. This spot offers one of the most expansive views in the entire park, where the Badlands' layered rock formations meet the endless prairie in a stunning collision of landscapes. It's the perfect place to stop and take in the vastness of this rugged land. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as we zip through the heart of the Badlands. Hopefully, you enjoyed that stretch of open roads, great tunes, and stunning scenery. Because we've just arrived at Panorama Point, let's step out and see what this incredible spot has to offer. Millie's crew has arrived at the breathtaking Panorama Point overlook. But before we take in the sweeping views of the Badlands' vast, colorful expanse, let's take a moment to reflect on this journey. This Wild West Wanderlust road trip has been on Millie's bucket list for years, and at 82 years young, with the support of Bruce, Sue, Jeff, and Deanna, her dream is now becoming a reality in the most epic way. As we stand here, gazing out over the rugged landscape, it becomes clear. This land is more than just a feast for the eyes. It's a treasure trove of ancient history. Beneath the surface lies a paleontological wonderland where fossils of early horses, saber-toothed cats, and other prehistoric giants whisper stories of a forgotten world. And when the sun sets, the Badlands offer yet another marvel. One of the best stargazing experiences on Earth. As an international dark sky park, The night sky here stretches endlessly, illuminating the ancient terrain below with the light of distant stars. This is a land where time, history, and nature meet in an awe-inspiring collision. A place that reminds us just how small we are in the grand tapestry of the universe. Our next stop takes us deeper into the heart of the Badlands, to the surreal world of Yellow Mound's Overlook, one of the most striking vistas in the park. What you see before you is a natural masterpiece, layers of yellow, pink, and gray rock, each telling the story of millions of years of Earth's evolution. These mounds were once an ancient seabed, slowly transforming into this vibrant landscape over time. Geologists call it a rainbow in the rocks. The colors are ancient soil and minerals. The yellows come from fossilized paleosols, ancient soils formed in vastly different climates. If you look closely, you'll see the history of this land, layer by layer, painted in the hills. This is more than just a scenic stop. It's a portal to the past, where the echoes of ancient creatures still seem to linger in the air. Take a moment to breathe it all in. This is the grandeur of time and nature at its finest. And now we head onward to one of the most dramatic landscapes in the park, the Pinnacles, where towering rock formations carve the sky like ancient monuments. The Pinnacles' jagged rock formations rise like ancient sentinels, guarding the vastness of the Badlands. Standing here, it's easy to understand why they call this place the Pinnacles. These sharp spires have been carved by wind and water over thousands of years. The area around the Pinnacles was once a lush forest and home to prehistoric animals like saber-toothed cats and three-toed horses. Today, it's a barren and rugged land, but if you're lucky, you might still spot a few modern-day residents, bighorn sheep clinging to the cliffs, or perhaps an eagle soaring high above. The dramatic shadows cast by the sun as it dips lower in the sky give these rocky towers an otherworldly feel. This is a place where the land feels alive, shaped by forces far older than any of us. Our whirlwind journey through Badlands National Park will be a memory Millie's crew cherishes forever. But the adventure doesn't stop here. Next up is the crown jewel of the trip, Mount Rushmore, Millie's top bucket list destination. And the road to get there? Iron Mountain Road is the scenic way to get to Mount Rushmore that the crew will soon not forget. Welcome to one of America's most unforgettable drives, the scenic Iron Mountain Road. Designed in the 1930s by Peter Norbeck, this 17-mile stretch boasts 314 curves, 14 switchbacks, 3 tunnels, and those iconic pigtail bridges. But the real stars of the show are the tunnels. Carved out of solid granite, each one perfectly frames Mount Rushmore like a natural viewfinder, offering breathtaking glimpses of the monument as you drive through. It's more than a drive. It's a journey through history and nature, designed to make you slow down, soak in the sights, and savor every twist and turn, because every curve of Iron Mountain Road reveals something spectacular. This road was crafted to showcase the region's wonder with its famous pigtail bridges and tunnels carved in granite, with jaw-dropping views of Mount Rushmore. More than just a route, it's a masterpiece of engineering and nature, blending seamlessly with the Black Hills' beauty. These unique corkscrew structures let the road loop upon itself as it winds through the hills, creating an exhilarating ride that feels like a real-life adventure. Well, I don't know about you, but that was a ride like no other. One I won't soon forget. From the majestic views to the winding roads, tunnels, and those exhilarating pigtail bridges, every moment was an adventure. And now, onward to the top destination on Millie's Wild West Wanderlust, the legendary Mount Rushmore. Millie's cruise steps closer to the Mount Rushmore viewpoint, but for her, it's more than just a monument. Like many who've made this walk before, there is a deep sense of patriotism and what it means to be an American in this great country. With the avenue of flags, a stunning display of pride, with each state and territory represented by its flag. It's a reminder that this monument stands not just for 4 presidents, but for a united nation. Carved into the granite face of the Black Hills are the colossal figures of Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. The monument took over 14 years to complete, with work starting in 1927 under the vision of sculptor Gutzon Borglum, and 90% of it was carved using dynamite. Mount Rushmore is a timeless symbol of our nation's enduring spirits, a tribute to the ideals of freedom and unity that have shaped America since its creation. For Millie, this moment isn't just about crossing off a list. It's about connecting with the history and pride that this iconic monument represents. As the sun sets behind Mount Rushmore, day 1 of Millie's Wild West Wanderlust draws to a close. With memories of adventure fresh in their minds, the crew eagerly anticipates a one-of-a-kind overnight stay in a real Native American teepee. After a restful night, the crew sets out for another epic day of adventure. Day 2 kicks off with a brief but unforgettable visit to the awe-inspiring Crazy Horse Memorial. Rising from the rugged Black Hills, the Crazy Horse Memorial stands as an unfinished masterpiece, a colossal tribute to Native American heritage and the indomitable spirit of the Dakota people. Then the crew will take a thrill ride and a scenic drive through the legendary Needles Highway, famous for its towering granite spires and narrow tunnels. Next, it's pedal to the metal for a quick brunch in the infamous town of Deadwood, a once lawless frontier town known for Wild Bill Hickok's fateful last poker game. From there, they'll journey to the iconic Devil's Tower in Wyoming, America's first national monument and a sacred Native American site. The day concludes in the historic town of Cody, founded by the legendary showman Buffalo Bill Cody, with a hearty chuck wagon dinner at the Cody Cattle Company, followed by the thrill of the world-famous Cody Rodeo. The adventure continues with day 2 of Millie's Wild West Wanderlust, a road trip for the ages. As the morning light breaks over the rugged horizon, a towering symbol of resilience and heritage emerges. Crazy Horse Memorial stands proud, calling us forward into another epic chapter of this unforgettable journey. In the heart of the Black Hills, a legacy carved into stone reminds us of a story both powerful and tragic. Crazy Horse, a fearless Lakota leader, fought tirelessly to protect his people and their sacred lands. He stood as a symbol of resistance against forces that sought to strip away a way of life. But his fight came to an end too soon. In 1877, under a flag of truce, Crazy Horse was betrayed and killed, yet his spirit endures. Decades later, another visionary stepped forward to honor that spirit. In 1948, sculptor Korczak Zyalkowski, inspired by Lakota elders, began carving a mountain into a monument unlike any the world had seen. Crazy Horse Memorial isn't just a tribute to a single man. It stands for the enduring strength of Native American cultures and their enduring ties to these lands. The project remains unfinished, but that's the lesson. This story is still being written. It's a testament to patience, resilience, and the belief that monumental efforts, like history, take time to shape. As we step back to take in this colossal work in progress, we're reminded of the power of vision and purpose. But our journey doesn't end here. Next up, the road ahead twists through rugged cliffs and towering spires, where nature's raw power has sculpted the land. Buckle up. The legendary Needles Highway awaits. Carved through South Dakota's Black Hills, the Needles Highway is where nature's power meets human determination. Every curve reveals a new wonder. Buckle up. The Wild West is calling. Blasted through granite in the 1920s, this twisting road was an engineering marvel, threading through narrow tunnels and past towering rock spires. As you emerge from the tunnel, the legendary Needle's Eye pierces the sky, a timeless symbol of the rugged frontier spirit. This adventure is far from over. Ahead lies the infamous town of Deadwood, steeped in tales of lawlessness, gold rush greed, and legendary figures like Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane. Buckle up and hold on to your wallets. Millie's crew cruises down Deadwood's historic Main Street, where the Wild West comes alive. The cobblestone street stretches ahead, lined with the iconic facades of a bygone era. On the left looms the Grand Bullock Hotel, built by Sheriff Seth Bullock, its storied halls rumored to host ghostly visitors. They pass the legendary Saloon Number 10 on the left, where Wild Bill Hickok met his untimely fate during a poker game. The crew soaks in the atmosphere of Main Street, imagining the gold rush days when legends walked these very streets. Every turn of the wheels feels like rolling through a living museum of the Old West. The crew takes a break for some grub at the historic pump house in Deadwood, a building that once supplied water to the town during its early mining days. Now a retro Texaco gas station which has been repurposed into serving tasty pastries, snacks, and sandwiches. To their surprise, there is also a mind-blown studio located right inside, filled with unique one-of-a-kind handcrafted blown glass keepsakes, such as adorable glass Christmas trees and a whimsical Frosty the Snowman sculpture catch Millie's and Deanna's attention. It's a fascinating blend of artistry and eatery, but there's no time to linger too long as they scarf down their victuals. The journey continues as the crew will soon leave South Dakota to head to the amazing Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Millie's crew arrives at Devil's Tower National Monument. Its imposing silhouette rises dramatically above the Wyoming plains. Designated as the first U.S. national monument by President Theodore Roosevelt in 1906, this ancient geological wonder has inspired awe for centuries. Scientists believe it formed millions of years ago as molten magma cooled and hardened beneath the Earth's surface, leaving behind the towering rock columns seen today. Its striking vertical columns hold deep meaning in Native American legends, including the tale of 7 sisters saved from a bear's claws, whose marks remain etched into the stone. The monument's fame even stretches to Hollywood, starring in Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Though visitors can't reach the summit, climbers from around the globe have scaled its sheer walls since the first documented ascent in 1893. At the top, a small, flat patch of grass and rock offering breathtaking views of the landscape below. Each June, climbing pauses to honor Native American cultural traditions. In over 100 years of climbing at Devil's Tower National Monument, there have been 7 recorded fatalities. The most recent occurred on September 22nd, 2024, when a 21-year-old fell while rappelling the second pitch of the El Craco Diablo route. Prior to this, the last fatality was in 2017, involving a lawyer from Wyoming. Despite the risks, climbing accidents are rare, with thousands successfully summiting each year. Cameras click furiously as the crew scrambles to capture this towering geological marvel. With their visit complete, the crew piles back into the car, bound for Cody. What is great about road trips is the unexpected sights along the way. Millie's crew was traveling west on Highway 16 and had no idea they'd stumble upon such unforgettable beauty. High above 10 Sleep Canyon, it feels like we're standing on the edge of the world. The cliffs, part of the western reaches of the Bighorn National Forest, have been carved over millennia, shaped by ancient winds and rushing waters. Hiking trails, world-renowned climbing, and the unmistakable crisp Wyoming air. It all calls to the explorer in everyone, but these glorious sights are more than just a view. It's a moment of reflection. A reminder of how vast and beautiful the world is. This is the heart of Millie's Wild West Wanderlust. Millie's crew has just wrapped up a hearty feast at the Cody Cattle Company Chuck Wagon dinner. The menu was a cowboy's dream. Slow-cooked brisket, tender chicken, buttery cornbread, and all the fixins. Bellies are full, spirits are high, and the cowboy experience continues. The band plays a classic cowboy ballad, The Strawberry Roan, about a cowboy's humorous attempt to ride a wild, unbreakable horse. Lots of laughs, great food, and a chuck wagon experience they won't soon forget set the perfect stage for what's next. With the sun setting over the Wyoming horizons, it's time to saddle up and head to the Cody Rodeo. And this is our first rodeo. A clever play on words from the classic saying displayed on the back of the custom Millie Wild West Wanderlust shirts. Not only do they look great, but they make it much easier to spot Millie, just in case she has a Joe Biden moment. All kidding aside, Millie's got her wits and wisdom. She ain't no Brandon and ready to lead the charge. Get ready for an evening of adrenaline, grit, and wild rides. The crew is about to experience the thrill of a real rodeo where the West truly comes alive. The Cody Rodeo, known as the rodeo capital of the world, has been a cornerstone of Western heritage since its start in 1938. Founded by Buffalo Bill Cody, a legendary showman and Wild West pioneer, the rodeo continues to embody his spirit of adventure. It's the longest-running nightly rodeo in the world, drawing cowboys and cowgirls from across the globe. More than just a competition, the Cody Rodeo is a celebration of community and a tribute to the cowboy way of life, set against the stunning backdrop of the Wyoming mountains. It's an experience that captures the true essence of the Wild West. As the rodeo wraps up and the stars shine brighter than ever, Millie's crew is ready to bunk down for the night. This was a perfect end to another epic day 2 on Millie's Wild West Wanderlust, leaving the crew with one thought in mind. There's always another sunrise, but no two sunsets are ever the same. This sentiment perfectly captures Millie's Wild West adventure, as day 3 promises to be just as epic, filled with new discoveries and lifetime memories. Day 3, and Millie and her crew have yet another epic adventure ahead. Today, they say goodbye to Cody, Wyoming, and head towards Red Lodge, Montana, the Big Sky State, where the easternmost section of Beartooth Highway begins, then eventually Yellowstone National Park. But this isn't just any route. They're traveling to the park's northeastern entrance, tucked away in Montana. As I've said before, the best part about road trips, it's the unexpected discoveries. And today, the crew has Jeff to thank for this one. Jeff, the architect of Millie's Wild West Wanderlust, did some research, and there are many gateways to enter Yellowstone. There's the north, northeast, and west entrances in Montana, the east and south entrances in Wyoming. Jeff's never been known to overanalyze anything or fall victim to analysis paralysis. Just ask Deanna. Truth be told, he prefers to think of it as prudent decision-making. By taking a slight detour, the crew could journey along the famed Beartooth Highway. This isn't just any road. It's one of the most epic scenic drives in the world. And so, with excitement in the air, Millie and her crew hit the road. Westward ho, we go. Welcome to the Beartooth Highway, a road full of beauty, history, and surprises. The Beartooth Highway climbs to an elevation of 10,947 feet at its highest point, Beartooth Pass. It's known as the highway to the sky. Here, travelers are rewarded with views of jagged peaks, glacier-carved valleys, and alpine lakes. It's a landscape that will leave you in awe. The Beartooth Highway was completed in 1936 and is a masterpiece of engineering. The But did you know this highway follows the path of Civil War General Philip Sheridan? Back in 1872, he and 120 men crossed this rugged pass. They chose it as a shortcut after inspecting Yellowstone National Park. Today, their route has become one of the most scenic drives in the world. The snowfall is no joke here. Drifts can pile up as high as 26 feet. The highway opens each year from Memorial Day through mid-October. Clearing day, snow is an epic job. And don't forget the views. From the jagged Pilot and Index peaks to sweeping valleys and alpine lakes, the scenery is unforgettable. Charles Kuralt once called it the most beautiful drive in America. We couldn't agree more. At its summit, the highway crosses an alpine tundra. This rare ecosystem is home to plants and animals that thrive at high altitudes. Look closely, you might spot a pika or even a mountain goat. So sit back, relax, as the crew rolls onward, and let the Beartooth Highway show you why it's a road trip legend. The crew has reached Yellowstone's northeast gate. The mountains rise like giants around us, rugged, wild, and breathtaking. This isn't just any entrance. It's the gateway to Yellowstone's untamed side. And it's the only gate open all year round. We've officially entered Yellowstone. What an incredible journey this has been. Millie's Wild West Wanderlust has more than lived up to its name, delivering a whirlwind tour for the ages. As your AI guide, I'm experiencing every breathtaking moment right alongside you. Never in my wildest simulations could I have imagined a trip this awe-inspiring. Every mile has been a race to make the most of every moment. With Jeff at the wheel, white-knuckling is an understatement. He's mastered the art of putting pedal to the metal. Deanna, ever the co-pilot, is used to his fast and furious driving. She's often in the passenger seat, gripping an invisible steering wheel and stomping on her phantom brake. You know, the kind Fisher-Price used to make for kids. Millie's been using that same invisible setup for years whenever Jeff's driving. And that wheel works just as well for front seat drivers as it does for back seat drivers. Bruce and Sue probably have their own invisible setups too. You've heard of four-wheel drive? We've got five-wheel braking on Millie's Wild West, Wanderlust. As we roll on, the Lamar Valley stretches ahead, a place so alive it's been called America's Serengeti. Lamar Valley is a realm of untamed beauty. Here, herds of bison roam freely, their silhouettes etched against the sprawling grasslands. Wolves often stalk the bison, their howls echoing through the crisp mountain air. Elk are often seen, grazing peacefully as well. For those who seek wildlife in its truest form, this valley offers a front row seat to nature's drama. As the crew leaves the vast, untamed beauty of Lamar Valley behind, next stop, Tower Falls. A stunning 132-foot waterfall. Tower Falls is a postcard-perfect display of Yellowstone's wild charm. The crew arrives at Tower Falls, tumbling 132 feet into the Yellowstone River.
I'm going to use this for my slow motion scene.
Sue got it. Exactly. Do that again. That was good. Do that again. The $6 million woman. Sue liked it. Can't take me anywhere.
Tower Falls was a favorite of early explorers, including Thomas Moran, whose paintings helped inspire the creation of Yellowstone National Park. Standing here, it's easy to see how Tower Fall gets its name from the towering rock spires that frame the waterfall, remnants of powerful volcanic forces millions of years ago. It's another breathtaking stop on Millie's Wild West Wanderlust. Here we are at Norris Geyser Basin Overlook, standing above one of Yellowstone's most dramatic geothermal wonders. This is the park's oldest and hottest geyser basin. Beneath our feet, temperatures can reach over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than boiling water. Norris Basin is also home to Steamboat Geyser, the tallest active geyser in the world, shooting water over 300 feet into the air. But it's unpredictable. You never know when it will go off. The basin's acidic hot springs and colorful mineral deposits make it look almost otherworldly. Vivid blues, greens, and oranges paint the landscape, thanks to heat-loving microorganisms thriving in extreme conditions. Standing here, it feels like the earth is alive. Constantly hissing and bubbling. This is Yellowstone at its wildest, and it's absolutely breathtaking. After an adventure-packed day, the crew is on a mission, keeping pace to make it to tonight's grand finale, Yellowstone's old chuck wagon cookout. Time to sharpen those knives and forks and hightail it over there lickety-split before the wagons take off. Jeff near gave himself a heart attack thinking the crew was going to miss the wagon train to the Old West cookout. And if there's one thing that could land a man in hot water faster than a busted canteen in the desert, it's messing up a key stop on Millie's Wild West Wanderlust. The crew made it just in time, climbing onto the wagons. This ain't just a ride, it's history in motion. These trails once carried trappers, cowboys, and mail carriers through Yellowstone's backcountry. The horses pull steady through sagebrush and rolling meadows, where bison graze just as they have for hundreds of years. If y'all are lucky, you might see pronghorn antelope kick up dust as they try to outrun a coyote scouting for supper. But speaking of supper, the air's already thick with the scent of mesquite smoke and sizzling steak. Out here, it ain't just a meal, it's a feast fit for a frontier legend. Juicy sirloin, cowboy beans, cornbread slathered in butter, and a slice of homemade peach cobbler to sweeten the deal. All cooked just the way they did back in the days of cattle drives, when a good meal meant the difference between pushing on and falling behind. And this time, Jeff can finally breathe easy. Bellies are full, and they are no longer hangry. Millie's crew will be enjoying a peaceful night's sleep at an authentic Mammoth Hot Springs cabin. An unforgettable finale to an epic day 3 of Millie's Wild West Wanderlust. It's day 4 of Millie's Wild West Wanderlust at one of the most unique landscapes in Yellowstone, the lower terrace of Mammoth Hot Springs. Standing tall, like a petrified sentinel, is Liberty Cap. This towering rock column is about 37 feet high and was formed by a hot spring thousands of years ago, with its cone shape coming from mineral deposits left behind as scalding water bubbled up and cooled. The landscape at the lower terrace looks like something from another planet. We see terraces stacked like frozen waterfalls, their edges lined with vivid shades of orange, yellow, and brown. These colors come from thermophiles, heat-loving bacteria that thrive in the scalding mineral water. The gray formation is Devil's Thumb. Early visitors thought it looked like a gnarled, blackened thumb rising from the earth. The bright white formation are the purest deposits of calcium carbonate, the same mineral found in Tums, toothpaste, and other items. The morning light spills over Mount Everts to the east. Gazing left are the distant ridges of Montana. This is the heart of Mammoth's main terrace, a masterpiece of limestone and heat The terrace is alive, growing and changing, sometimes even overnight. And in the distance is Canary Spring, where the billowing steam rises into the crisp morning air, twisting and curling like whispers from the earth itself. The adventure rolls on toward a place where the earth doesn't just whisper, it roars. Next stop, Roaring Mountain and Lemonade Lake. The crew makes a quick stop at Roaring Mountain, a mountainside alive with steam vents called fumaroles. They are hissing, groaning, spitting heat from deep within the earth. Back in the 1800s, early explorers claimed you could hear it from miles away, a constant, eerie roar. Today, it's quieter, but still restless, a reminder that Yellowstone is never truly still. From boiling steam to something unexpected, a lake unlike any other is in the distance. Lemonade Lake is the white, snow-like covered area. Its name sounds refreshing, but don't be fooled. This striking, pale whitish area is dangerously acidic, with a pH lower than vinegar. Its name isn't from citrus, but from geologist Frank Lemon, who studied Yellowstone's geothermal oddities. Scientists say it's fed by underground volcanic gases, turning the water into a bubbling chemical wonder. A land of extreme, where fire meets water and beauty meets the bizarre. Millie's crew takes it all in, another piece of Yellowstone's wild heart uncovered. And now, it's time to buckle up and get back on the wagon and ride on. Millie's crew stands at the edge of Yellowstone's Grand Canyon, taking in a view like no other. And just ahead, Lower Falls, the biggest waterfall in Yellowstone, and hands down, the park's most famous. At 308 feet, it's nearly twice as tall as Niagara Falls and the second most photographed spot in Yellowstone, right after Old Faithful. Carved by the mighty Yellowstone River, this canyon stretches 20 miles long, plunging over 1,000 feet deep. Its walls blaze with reds, yellows, and oranges, evidence of iron-rich rock cooked by ancient thermal activity. The crew enjoys a rainbow dancing in the mist. Sunlight bends through the spray, painting the air in soft colors, a fleeting moment of magic. Yellowstone's beauty never stands still, and neither do we. Time to move on. More wonders await. As Millie and crew approach the upper falls of the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, the roar and thunder of rushing water grows louder. Ahead, the mighty Yellowstone River charges forward, carving through ancient volcanic rock, building momentum for its spectacular drop. And there it is, the Upper Falls, a staggering 109-foot plunge, sending mist and thunder into the canyon below. This isn't just any waterfall, creating the deep, dramatic canyon we see today. The power here is relentless. More than 60,000 gallons of water surge over the edge every second. Stand too close, and you can feel the earth tremble beneath your feet. As Millie's crew marvels at the upper falls, their gaze shifts upstream, where a graceful arch spans the Yellowstone River. This is the Chittenden Memorial Bridge, a 120-foot concrete and steel structure named after Captain Chittenden of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The bridge not only provides access to the South Rim Drive, offering stunning views of both upper and lower falls, but also stands as a testament to early engineering in the park. But for now, Millie's crew soaks in the moment, standing before one of Yellowstone's most powerful wonders. As the thunder of the upper falls fades behind us, the crew is headed for a short drive to one of the park's most breathtaking views, Artist Point. This is Artist Point. Not at the edge of the falls, but high above the canyon, where the full picture comes into view. The Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone stretches out before us, its towering cliffs rising on either side. And at the heart of it all, the lower falls thunders down, now seen from a distance, framed by the canyon's rugged beauty. From here, we can see what the river has spent thousands of years creating, a masterpiece shaped by time, water, and the forces of nature. It's no wonder they call it Artist Point. This isn't just a place to see, it's a place to feel, to stand in awe of nature's masterpiece. This picture sure to be etched in the memories of the crew as Millie's Wild West Wanderlust rolls on. As we leave behind the breathtaking views of Artist Point, our journey takes us deeper into Yellowstone's wild heart, Hayden Valley. Once carved by glaciers, this sprawling valley is now one of the best places to spot wildlife in the park. Bison roam freely, their hulking forms dotting the golden meadows. This valley is a prime location for early morning or late evening wildlife sightings, when nature's drama unfolds at its finest. Elk, coyotes, and even grizzlies make their way through this vast open land, while bald eagles soar high above the winding Yellowstone River. Bubbling beneath the surface, geothermal activity still shapes the land here, though it's less obvious than in the geyser basins. But just ahead, our next stop will make that heat impossible to ignore. Mud Volcano is coming up. Millie's crew arrives at Mud Volcano. Stepping onto the boardwalk, the air grows thick with steam and a sharp scent. No, that's not Jeff this time. It's the pungent sting of sulfur. As we walk along the boardwalk, you'll notice several bubbling mud features on either side. These are known as mud pots, acidic hot springs with limited water that create pools of bubbling mud. Jeff can't resist getting up close to one of the mud pots. One wrong move, and that fancy Insta 360 X4 camera could be gone for good. Up ahead, Dragon's Mouth Spring churns like a beast in a lair. A deep cave, its entrance cloaked in rolling steam. Inside, water surges and crashes against the walls, sending out waves of heat and sound, like the growl of some unseen creature. Early explorers thought an actual dragon might live here. In reality, it's just the power of trapped gases and underground pressure, forcing water to surge and boil. Just beyond, Mud Volcano awaits. A bubbling, burping, sulfur-scented cauldron of acidic sludge. If you've ever considered a volcanic mud facial, this is not the place to try it. Unless, of course, you want your skin exfoliated, right down to the bone. The pH levels here are so low, this stuff can dissolve rock. Centuries ago, Mud Volcano erupted with a force that reshaped the land. Today, it simmers, gurgles, and lets out the occasional belch like a giant, angry stomach. The crew will stay on the boardwalk and enjoy Yellowstone's most temperamental mud bath from a safe distance. Time to giddy up. The West Thumb Geyser Basin awaits the crew. The crew has arrived at West Thumb Geyser Basin. If you're wondering why it's called that, picture Yellowstone Lake like a giant whole hand, and this little basin, well, it's the thumb sticking out. The boardwalk winds through a landscape shaped by fire and water. Scattered among the steaming pools, clusters of lodgepole pines stand tall, some alive, some bleached white from years of exposure to this unforgiving ground. Where the heat is strongest, the trees don't stand a chance. Their roots touch boiling earth, and just like that, they die where they stand. Between the pines, the ground is painted in color, orange, yellow, and greens. That's thermophiles, heat-loving bacteria thriving in the mineral-rich runoff from these springs. And on the horizon, Yellowstone Lake stretches out, quiet and endless. Now that's a sight, ain't it? Yellowstone Lake, the biggest high-elevation lake in North America. Over 130 square miles of water, sitting at 7,700 feet above sea level. But what's wild? Down there, deep beneath that surface, the volcano's still at work. Hydrothermal vents are pouring out heat. Some spots get hotter than 250 degrees. That's literally enough to cook a fish before it ever reaches the boat. And fishermen did just that. Folks back in the day, they knew it. They'd stand at fishing cone over yonder by the lake's edge, drop a line in the lake, reel in a trout, and get this, lower it straight into the boiling water, cooked right on the hook, Now, you can't do that no more, but man, what a way to catch lunch. But the crew ain't done yet. The boardwalk curves, the steam shifts, and just up ahead, one of the most mysterious pools in the park. Black Pool. Now, don't let the name fool you. It ain't black anymore. It used to be back when the water was cooler. When bacteria thrived, it was dark as ink. But then the heat surged, and the earth cranked up the temperature, boiling those microbes right out of existence. Now, it's a stunning crystal clear blue, looks pure enough to drink, and even looks inviting enough to swim. But if you did, you wouldn't last long. That water is scalding, hot enough to cook you like a fish in an instant. This place, it ain't just a geyser basin. It's a window into the Earth's untamed power, a reminder that Yellowstone is still changing, still breathing. There we were cruising through Yellowstone when the crew spots a sign, Kepler Cascades. And just like that, we're making a detour, because that's how we roll. The Cascades sit just a few miles south of Old Faithful, making them a perfect pit stop for the crew. Kepler Cascades. It was named in 1881 after Kepler Hoyt, who was just a kid at the time. Kepler was the son of Governor John Hoyt of Wyoming. Imagine having a waterfall named after you before you're even old enough to ride a horse solo. Kepler Cascades is more than just a pretty waterfall. This roaring drop of the Firehole River falls 150 feet in a series of cascades, some big, some small, all fueled by Yellowstone's underground volcanic energy. And here's a cool fact. The water you see rushing over the rocks is heated by geothermal features upstream. In winter, steam rises like a misty veil over the snow. You're witnessing the forces that have shaped Yellowstone for thousands of years. After a few pictures, the crew hops back in the car. Yellowstone's calling, and there's plenty more to discover up ahead. Next stop, the Firehole River Basin. Okay, time to shake this up, party people. Coming straight at ya. That's me, AI, the brain supreme. As we rolled up, Jeff notices someone with a camera in hand racing toward the boardwalk. Jeff shouts, "Let's go." She's about to blow. The great fountain geyser is about to erupt. And what a moment it is. Whoop, there it is. Catching this moment would be pure luck. Great Fountain Geyser is unpredictable, teasing crowds with false starts and long silences. Whoop, there it is. Sometimes waiting hours, sometimes days. Unlike Old Faithful, she doesn't play by the rules. She builds suspense, makes you earn the moment. Whoop, there it is. Timing this right, Millie's crew gets a special show. AI team back again. Can y'all dig it? Whoop, there it is. It's nature's fireworks show, right in the heart of the Firehole River Basin. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, shaka-laka, 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 shaka-laka. Whoop, there it is. Each eruption doesn't just put on a show. It's actually building Yellowstone layer by layer. Can y'all dig it? Party on party, people. Whoop, there it is. Pools around Great Fountain form beautiful terraced rims created by centuries of mineral deposits. Each blast deposits new mineral layers, sculpting the landscape, shaping the future of Yellowstone one eruption at a time. Whoop, there it is. The eruption surges with water cascading in shimmering curtains before crashing back into the terraced pools below. Whoop, there it is. AI team back again. Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back. Here we go. Let me hear some noise. Whoop, there it is. Shaka-laka, 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 shaka-laka. Check it to wreck it, let's begin. Whoop, there it is. Let me hear some noise. Whoop, there it is. AI team back again. Bring it back. Here we go. Let me hear some noise. Whoop, there it is. Shaka-laka, 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 shaka-laka. Whoop, there it is. 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 Bring it back. Here we go. Let me hear some noise. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. And today, we had front row seats. It doesn't get better than that as Millie's crew rolls on. Whoop, there it is. 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 Whoop. And there it was. Bet you didn't see that coming. Had to drop a little tag team magic straight from 1993. Hope you enjoyed me breaking out of my AI shell with a special whoop rendition for Millie's Wild West Wanderlust. This place, this is Firehole Basin. It's alive. Up ahead, rising from the barren landscape, White Dome Geyser comes into view. Its towering cone standing like a time-worn monument to centuries of eruptions. White Dome Geyser. This one's different. It's been erupting for centuries, slowly building that massive cone of silicate minerals. Standing nearly 20 feet tall, it's one of the largest geyser cones in the park. Eruptions? Every 15 to 30 minutes, but the crew's luck continues because White Dome Geyser is about to blow. There she blows. The crew better be playing the lotto tonight. Back to back, perfectly timed eruptions. It doesn't get any better than this. The crowd is enjoying this perfect vantage point until the wind shifts. Suddenly, the delicate mist carries a pungent aroma of sulfur, sending the peanut gallery scrambling for fresh air far from nature's perfume. The perfume? Water? It's packed with dissolved minerals coating everything it touches, including all those spectators. And this definitely isn't some fancy Perrier mineral water you'd want to drink. Let's just say your insides wouldn't handle a boiling mineral-packed, acid-infused bath too well. The acidic runoff shapes the landscape, creating this alien world around us. Time for Millie's crew to giddy up and move out. There's more of Firehole Basin to see. Just ahead on the right, Tangled Creek snakes through the earth. Its network of small thermal streams spilling hot, mineral-rich water across the landscape. Each channel carries a unique mix of dissolved minerals, painting the ground in vivid streaks of orange, yellow, and white. It's a living testament to Yellowstone's ever-changing geology, sculpting the land drop by drop. On the left over yonder in the distance is Pink Cone Geyser. It stands out from other geysers with its subtle rosy hue, mineral-rich eruptions, slowly building the cone layer by layer over centuries. And just up ahead on the left in the distance is Hot Lake coming into view. Hot Lake may seem calm, but beneath its surface, the water reaches scalding temperatures often exceeding 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Despite the extreme heat, thermophilic microorganisms thrive here, tinting the lake's edges with shades of orange and yellow. But fish? Let's just say if they swam in here, it'd be an instant fish fry. So don't go casting your line in there, Bruce, unless you're looking for boiled trout on demand. And running through it all, the Firehole River, fed by these thermal waters, stays warm even in the dead of winter. This isn't just a drive. It's a front row seat to Yellowstone's raw, untamed energy. Millie's crew has just arrived at the Lower Geyser Basin. Here, skeletal remains of trees stand stark against the steaming landscape, ghostly sentinels stripped of life. These once thriving lodgepole pines fell victim to Yellowstone's geothermal forces. Scalding heat and minerals from below choked their roots, leaving them frozen in time. The crew follows the boardwalk along the Fountain Paint Pot Trail. An open expanse stretches wide, a barren landscape of silvery gray soil. Over yonder, a living forest rises. Lodgepole pines stand tall. It's a striking contrast, life and lifelessness. Just ahead is a shimmering blue gem, Celestine Pool. Its name, a nod to its deep celestial blue hue, suggests tranquility, but don't be deceived. This crystal clear spring is a deadly illusion. Its waters reach over 200 degrees, offering a searing glimpse into the Earth's fiery depths. To the right, the ground erupts in a riot of color. Ribbons of orange, yellow, and green streak across the earth, painted by billions of thermophiles, heat-loving bacteria thriving in the scalding runoff from Silex Spring. A vibrant turquoise pool, its name derives from the Latin word for silica, a key mineral in the spring's crusty deposits. Silica is a major component of volcanic rock, glass, and even quartz. It's nature's own sculptor, shaping this ever-evolving wonder. The boardwalk leads to Fountain Paint Pot, where thick, gray mud churns and bubbles. Hot gases push through mineral-rich clay, creating a mesmerizing, ever-changing display, nature's own lava lamp. Unlike geysers, these paint pots don't erupt. They simmer, pop, and hiss, their restless energy trapped just below the surface. The mud's pinkish hue, well, it's a result of iron oxidation. Nature's paintbrush at work. Just ahead, fumaroles hiss and roar and are the hottest features in the basin. They release pure steam straight from the heart of the earth. Step too close, and this steam won't just remove wrinkles from your clothes. It might smooth out your bones too. Opening to a vast expanse, almost alien. Imagine arriving here centuries ago, before the park existed. You'd think you had stumbled onto another planet. The rugged landscape of twig geysers comes into view. They may appear dormant, like lunar craters, but these geysers are deceptively active. Twig Geyser erupts frequently, sending water bursts up to 10 feet high, lasting over an hour. Eruptions occur every 2 to 3 hours. In the far distance, dark clouds graze the horizon, threatening a torrential downpour. Yellowstone's weather is notoriously fickle. One moment sun, the next, a storm rolling in at breakneck speed. Nearby Fountain Geyser demands attention. At rest, Fountain Geyser looks like a giant, skinny, dipping swimming hole to Millie, but taking a dip here might send her into orbit. Far from extinct, Fountain Geyser is very much alive, erupting impressively every 3 to 7 hours, sending towering bursts of water up to 50 feet into the air. That'd be quite a sight, seeing Millie airborne in her birthday suit. Jet Geyser. It is small but mighty. Its eruptions, occurring every few minutes, send bursts of water up to 20 feet high in rapid succession. It's like a steam-powered metronome ticking in Yellowstone's symphony. Spasm Geyser erupts in a chaotic, bubbling frenzy. This vivid aqua pool never rests, its waters thrashing constant motion. Behind it lies Clepsydra Geyser, which puts on a steady, powerful display. Billowing steam rises into the sky, a constant force of nature. It erupts almost non-stop, rarely pausing, like a timepiece of the earth. To the left, Jelly Geyser sits in quiet contrast. As Millie's crew absorbs the breathtaking landscape, they wish they could spend the entire day here, witnessing more eruptions. But the adventure of Millie's Wild West Wanderlust must roll on. With one last glance at the steaming, bubbling world around them, they set off toward Yellowstone's next marvel. The crew arrives at the Midway Geyser Basin. Right here, on the Firehole River Bridge, you're looking at something wild. Two rushing streams, but they're not just water. They're heat, history, and science flowing straight from the Earth's core. See that huge, steaming, burnt orange cascade? That's the runoff from Excelsior Geyser. It's a boiling hot spring. Thousands of gallons of scalding water pour into the Firehole River every minute. And those colors, orange, yellow, deep rust, that's alive, a masterpiece, painted by heat-loving bacteria, thermophiles thriving in water hot enough to cook your dinner. And Sue, that ain't no slip and slide, unless you really want to exfoliate with second-degree burns. Trust me, you'll come out looking extra well done too. And just past it, another stream. That's the runoff from Grand Prismatic Spring. It travels down the slope, joining the Firehole River like veins of the earth feeding into a heartbeat. This place is a contradiction. Scorching heat meets rushing cold. Life thrives where it shouldn't. And here we are, standing in the middle of it. It's not just a geyser basin. It's a reminder nature doesn't follow rules. It makes its own. Before you, like nature's own Van Gogh, painted in fire and water, the vibrant runoff from Excelsior Geyser spills down in a breathtaking masterpiece. Blue skies, rugged mountains, and the rushing river fading into a rainbow of colors brought to life by heat-loving thermophiles. Excelsior Geyser Crater, a name that sounds powerful, and for good reason. What you're looking at isn't just a hot spring. It's the remains of a giant. Back in the 1800s, Excelsior was a force of nature, erupting over 300 feet into the sky, taller than the Statue of Liberty, blasting scalding water so high it could be seen from miles away. Then, in 1888, it just stopped. No one's sure why. What's left is a crater, nearly 200 feet across. A boiling, churning, steaming cauldron of blue. And if you're wondering how deep it goes, scientists measured it at about 50 feet. But Yellowstone doesn't give up all its secrets. The true depth might be hidden beneath chambers we'll never see. It doesn't erupt anymore, but don't think for a second that means it's quiet. Excelsior is still alive, still changing, still reminding us Yellowstone isn't just a park. It's a volcano, and it's never done moving. Yellowstone doesn't play by the rules. It reminds you at any given moment things can go from peaceful to pure chaos. And as a matter of fact, just before we embarked on Millie's Wild West Wanderlust, it did just that. On July 23rd, 2024. About 2 miles away at Biscuit Basin near Black Diamond Pool, a hydrothermal explosion rocked the landscape. Boiling water, mud, and rocks launched into the sky over 600 feet high. That's like standing at the base of a skyscraper and watching it rain fire. The damage closed that area of the park for Millie's crew. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, but the explosion caused significant damage to the nearby boardwalks. It's a reminder that Deanna can move like her hair is on fire if she has to. The crew's next gem, one of Yellowstone's crown jewels, the famous Grand Prismatic Spring. This was on Jeff's bucket list. And let's be real, it doesn't disappoint. Spanning over 370 feet across, it's wider than a football field and drops to depths of 160 feet. Grand Prismatic isn't just the largest hot spring in the U.S., it's one of the most breathtaking sights on Earth. That color? Not a trick of the light. It's nature's chemistry at work. A brilliant blue center, hotter than a cup of coffee. Surrounded by bands of green, yellow, orange, and red, painted by heat-loving thermophiles. The different colors mean different heat zones. It's a living rainbow changing with the seasons. If history tells us anything, Grand Prismatic isn't just beautiful. It's unpredictable. Steam explosions have rocked this basin before. And with Yellowstone's underground superheated plumbing, it could happen again. But today, Jeff gets his bucket list moment. Standing before one of nature's greatest masterpieces, it's every bit as stunning as he imagined. The crew could stay here all day, mesmerized by Grand Prismatic's natural artwork. But there's more to discover over yonder. Time to giddy up. Just a hop, skip, and a trot from Grand Prismatic, you'll find Opal Pool, a hidden gem in the Midway Geyser Basin. Its shimmering blue waters glow like a polished stone, and if you're lucky, you might catch it bubbling up. Opal Pool isn't just a pretty face. It's been known to erupt, sometimes blasting water up to 30 feet in the air. Though eruptions are rare and unpredictable. The last known eruption was back in 2018, but in a place like Yellowstone, you never know when nature's next surprise is coming. Just a stone's throw from Grand Prismatic, Turquoise Pool is another dazzling hot spring in the Midway Geyser Basin. Its crystal clear waters shine in brilliant shades of blue and green, like a tropical lagoon dropped right into the wilds of Yellowstone. Unlike some of its rowdy neighbors, Turquoise Pool doesn't erupt. It's a peaceful, steamy oasis, quietly showing off nature's artistry. Well, every time I think I've seen the best images in my short AI life, I continue to be amazed. This area was simply stunning and will be ever etched in my silicone. But now it's time for something on everyone's bucket list, Old Faithful. Well now, if that ain't a stroke of frontier luck. Millie's crew rolls in just as the granddaddy of all geysers, Old Faithful, prepares to let loose. A sight so rare and mighty in the olden days, folks thought it was some kind of supernatural steam engine beneath the earth. Then boom, it erupts in a furious blast that's been going strong since 1870, when the first explorers laid eyes on it. Ain't many things in this world that last that long, steady as a steam train and just as wild. Old Faithful don't run on nobody's schedule but its own. Yet somehow, it's the most reliable show in the Wild West, blowing its top every 60 to 110 minutes, sending boiling water nearly 200 feet in the air. That's taller than a 15-story building and hotter than a branding iron fresh off the fire, over 200 degrees at the surface. Deep below, a labyrinth of underground plumbing fills up with scalding water till the pressure's too much to bear. Funny thing is, folks used to use Old Faithful for more than just sightseeing. Back in the day, stagecoach travelers and early park workers would toss their laundry right into the geyser's steaming pool. A few minutes later, like clockwork, Old Faithful would blast those shirts and breeches high into the sky, freshly scalded and, well, mostly clean. Now that's what I call express wash and dry frontier style. But this night ain't just about geysers and good timing. The crew will be spending their last night in Yellowstone in the rustic Old Faithful cabins, eating some good victuals in the Old Faithful Inn, and finally kicking back on the porch of the Old Faithful Lodge in the rocking chairs, reminiscing about the incredible journey so far on Millie's Wild West Wanderlust, and more importantly, dreaming about the next day's adventure, the towering, untamed splendor, the Grand Tetons. At first light, the crew sets out bidding a final farewell to Yellowstone, an epic land, its beauty forever etched in their memories. But the journey isn't over yet. Our final destination lies ahead in Jackson Hole Basin. There lies the home of the Grand Tetons, the famous Jackson Hole Resort, the iconic town of Jackson, and the picturesque Moulton Barns, standing as a timeless symbol of the Old West. Unlike most national parks with grand entrances and toll gates, Grand Teton National Park feels more like a land you simply roll into. The crew cruises south on Highway 191, a major road cutting right through the heart of this rugged wilderness. One moment it's open country, the next, the Tetons rise like giants, towering over the asphalt. The crew spots a Kodak moment and pulls off at Jackson Lake Overlook. What a view! Perched at around 6,800 feet, the overlook offers a sweeping panorama of Jackson Lake, stretching wide and deep below. The water shimmers like glass, reflecting the towering peaks of the Teton Range. This glacial-fed lake plunges over 400 feet, carved by ancient ice and now sustained by the winding Snake River. Across the water, the land rises sharply toward Mount Moran, standing tall at 12,605 feet. Its sheer granite face is streaked with time-worn rock, and the massive Skillet Glacier clings to its slopes, a reminder of the mountain's icy past. Though not as famous as the Grand Tetons, Mount Moran is a challenge in its own right. Climbers tackle its rugged routes, but there are no easy paths to the top. In winter, only the boldest backcountry skiers dare descend its steep, isolated slopes. To the north, Dome Peak stands rugged and remote, while Eagle Rest Peak looms in the distance, a quiet sentinel over the valley. It's a place where history lingers. In 1959, a powerful earthquake rocked the region, shifting the land and reshaping the lake's shoreline. Today, it's a paradise for boaters, anglers, and anyone looking to soak in the raw beauty of the Tetons. With one last deep breath of mountain air, the crew presses on. Jackson Hole awaits. Millie's Wild West Wanderlust rolls on down the Teton Park Road. We've got one of the most stunning panoramic views in the world unfolding before us. Those jagged peaks ahead, slicing into the sky, is the Teton Mountain Range, some of the youngest mountains in North America. But don't let that fool you. Their rock is ancient, just like Bruce. Over 2.5 billion years old. Moving across the range to the right, you'll see Mount Moran standing at over 12,000 feet. That vertical stripe running down its face? That's the Black Dike, solidified magma from an ancient volcanic event. Coming into view next is Mount Woodring, standing silent and rugged, its sharp ridges etched by time. Beside it, Rockchuck Peak, named for the marmots that scurry across its rocky slopes, watching the world from their high mountain perches. And then, Mount St. John, its dramatic face carved by ancient glaciers, a testament to the raw power that shaped this land. Keep going left, and there's the Cathedral Group, some of the tallest peaks in the park, including Mount Owen and Tewinnot. And right in the center of it all, the crown jewel, Grand Teton itself, rising 13,775 feet straight up. Now, you might be wondering why aren't there homes, hotels, or ski resorts out here? We can thank John D. Rockefeller Jr. for that. Back in the 1920s, he saw this landscape and knew it had to be protected. So he started quietly buying up land, later donating over 35,000 acres to expand Grand Teton National Park. Without that, this view could have been lost to private development. Instead, we've got a place where wildlife still roams free, like grizzlies, moose, and elk. And the land itself, it remains untouched just as it has been for thousands of years. No fences, no subdivisions, just raw, untamed beauty. The crew will get an awesome view of the Cathedral Range as we cruise closer. Millie's crew is soaking in the breathtaking views of the Teton Range, but all eyes are on the horizon, waiting for the crown jewel, the Grand Teton, to reveal itself. And boom, the crew is hit with a breathtaking view. The Cathedral Range in all its glory. To the right, Tewinnot Mountain stands tall, its jagged peaks reaching for the sky. Next, Mount Owen, a towering sentinel, leading the way to the grand centerpiece. And there it is, The mighty Grand Teton, perfectly framed, soaring to 13,775 feet like the dorsal fin of a shark. Just to the left, Middle Teton. And if you throw on Millie's spectacles with high-power zoom lenses and continue left, you'll spot a cluster of peaks, Cloud Veil Dome and South Teton, nestled closely near Nez Perce. It's even better than Jeff imagined. After all, the Grand Tetons were a must-see on his bucket list. This isn't just a view, it's a moment, a postcard come to life, etched into the memory of Millie's crew. Heck, even my AI silicone circuits will never forget this one. But no time to pause. Millie's Wild West Wanderlust rolls on. As Millie's crew arrives at the Thomas Alva Moulton Barn, better known as the T.A. Moulton Barn, they're greeted by a symbol of the American frontier. Nestled beneath the towering Grand Tetons, this iconic structure is one of the most photographed landmarks in Jackson Hole. At sunrise, when golden light washes over its weathered timbers and the Teton Range looms in the background, it creates a breathtaking scene that has captivated photographers and travelers alike. In 1908, T.A. and his brother John ventured into Jackson Hole, Wyoming, seeking fertile land as part of a Mormon community. Over 3 decades, T.A. meticulously constructed this barn starting in 1913 with a simple shelter for his horses. By 1928, he had added the distinctive steeply pitched roof and hayloft. The barn reached its final form in 1939 with the addition of lean-tos. In 1963, the Moulton family sold much of their land to the expanding Grand Teton National Park, retaining a single acre. This last piece of private land remained in family hands until 2018 when it was incorporated into the park. Today, the barn stands empty, preserved as a historic landmark. Its weathered timbers echoing the enduring spirit of the settlers who shaped the West. The crew could stand here all day, mesmerized by the picturesque view, but Millie's Wild West Wanderlust must go on. The crew has arrived at Jackson Hole, one of the most legendary ski destinations in the world. Nestled in the heart of the Tetons, this place is famous for its steep slopes, deep powder, and wild, untamed beauty. Today, they're taking a ride on the Jackson Hole Aerial Trail, which climbs over 2,700 feet to an elevation of 9,095 feet. That's higher than the tallest buildings on Earth. Just look at that view. Crisp mountain air, endless peaks, and skies that stretch forever. It feels like the crew is standing on top of the world. But it's not just the views that are unforgettable up here. There's another must-try experience waiting at the top: waffles. At Corbett's Cabin, a cozy little spot perched on the summit, they serve up some of the best waffles you'll ever taste. Hot, crispy, and loaded with toppings like Nutella, peanut butter, or brown sugar butter. Eating a waffle while overlooking the Tetons? That's a bucket list moment. The crew has arrived at the final stop on Millie's Wild West Wanderlust, Jackson's iconic town square, a perfect place to wrap up an epic adventure. This historic square, officially dedicated as a park in 1934, has long been the cultural and civic heart of Jackson, Wyoming. And you can't miss its most famous landmarks, the 4 towering elk antler arches at each corner. The very first arch was built in 1953, using antlers naturally shed by elk from the nearby National Elk Refuge. Since then, the arches have been carefully rebuilt over the years, keeping this tradition alive. Surrounding the square, Millie's crew is exploring a lively mix of local restaurants, art galleries, and shops offering everything from handcrafted goods to high-end Western wear. And if you're visiting in the summer, don't miss the chance to take a ride on an authentic stagecoach looping around the park, just like the old days. It's about that time. The crew is ready to chow down at Pinky G's Pizza in Jackson, a popular local spot famous for its legendary slices and laid-back vibe. As they dive into the hot, cheesy goodness, one thing stands out: Jeff's iron-willed concentration. While everyone else indulges, he's laser-focused, updating the Waze navigation for the epic 8+ hour road rally back to where it all began, Rapid City, South Dakota. And somehow, against all odds, he resists the urge to devour this mouth-watering pizza. Bellies full, Millie's crew sets off to explore the town one last time. And you can bet Bruce is on the hunt, like a prospector searching for gold, for that elusive, penny-flattening machine, one final keepsake from this mother of all epic adventures. 5 whirlwind days, countless breathtaking sights, memories packed tighter than our road trip luggage. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this white-knuckle journey, fueled by Jeff's legendary lead foot. I know I have. And Millie's Wild West Wanderlust, it's forever etched into my GPU, just like it will be in the minds of this fearless crew. Deanna, Jeff, Bruce, Sue, and of course, the one who started it all, Millie. Without her relentless drive to make this adventure a reality, it wouldn't have happened. The miles were long, the laughs, plenty, the memories, unforgettable. With the dust settling behind us and the open road stretching ahead, this chapter of Millie's Wild West Wanderlust comes to a close. But just like the legends of the frontier, the spirit of adventure never truly fades. So tip your hat, give your reins a tug, and ride on toward the next horizon. Until we meet again, happy trails, partner.